Welcome to a story that gripped a nation, a tale of tragedy, power, and the relentless pursuit of justice. The Jessica Lal murder case of 1999 is more than just a crime. It's a window into the heart of India's social and judicial struggles. I'm going to take you through this harrowing journey in a three-act structure. Rising tension, the fateful incident, and the long road to catching the culprit. We'll break this down into 4 parts, each diving deep into the details with a conversational tone, just like you're watching a true crime documentary unfold. So, settle in as we step back to a night in New Delhi that changed everything. Picture this. It's the late 1990s in New Delhi, a city buzzing with contrasts, ancient history alongside modern ambition, and elite social circles mingling with everyday struggles. On the night of April 29, 1999, the Tamarind Court restaurant in Mehrauli is the place to be. Nestled near the iconic Qutub Minar, this upscale venue is hosting a lavish party, drawing in around 300 of Delhi's glitterati. The air is thick with laughter, clinking glasses, and the hum of privilege. At the center of this scene is Jessica Lal, a 34-year-old model-turned-celebrity bartender. She's not just pouring drinks. She's the life of the party with her charm and confidence. Jessica's got a bright future ahead, balancing her modeling gigs with her knack for hospitality. But tonight, she's behind the bar, keeping things running smoothly. The rules are clear. Liquor service stops at 12:30 a.m. No exceptions. As midnight creeps closer, the bar's stock is dwindling, and Jessica starts winding down for the night. Now, let's shift focus to another player entering the frame. Siddharth Vashisht, better known as Manu Sharma. He's in his early 20s, the son of Vinod Sharma, a heavyweight politician from Haryana with deep ties in political circles. Manu carries an air of entitlement, the kind that comes from knowing doors open for you before you even knock. He rolls into Tamarind Court late, with 3 buddies, Amardeep Singh Gill, Vikas Yadav, and Alok Khanna, all from similarly influential backgrounds. They're looking to keep the night going. Rules be damned. As the clock ticks past the cutoff, Manu approaches the bar, flashing a wad of cash, or 1,000, a hefty sum back then, and demands a drink. Jessica, sticking to her principles, politely declines. The bar's closed, and no amount of money changes that. You can feel the tension building, can't you? A young woman standing her ground against a man used to getting his way. The room's energy shifts. A few guests nearby sense something's off. But no one steps in. Manu's face hardens, his ego bruised in front of his friends and a crowd of Delhi's elite. What would you do in Jessica's shoes? Hold firm or bend under pressure? And what kind of person feels so entitled that a simple no becomes a personal affront? These questions linger as the night takes a darker turn, setting the stage for a moment that will shock a nation. We're on the edge of something catastrophic, and the fuse is already lit. Let's zero in on that pivotal moment. The night of April 29th, turning into the early hours of April 30th, 1999. The Tamarind Court is still buzzing, though the bar is officially shut. Jessica Lal stands firm behind the counter, her resolve unshaken despite Manu Sharma's insistence. His offer of cash is rebuffed, and the rejection stings more than he can handle. The atmosphere grows heavy, like the air before a storm. Manu, fueled by anger, and perhaps emboldened by the liquor already in his system, doesn't just walk away. He pulls out a .22 caliber pistol, a weapon that has no business at a party, and fires a shot into the ceiling. The crack echoes through the venue, a brazen act of intimidation. Guests freeze, some gasp, others stare in disbelief. It's a warning, a display of power meant to cow everyone, especially Jessica, into submission. But she doesn't flinch. With courage that's almost unimaginable, she refuses him again. That second refusal is the breaking point. In a flash of rage, Manu raises the gun once more, this time aiming directly at Jessica. He pulls the trigger, and the bullet strikes her in the head. She collapses instantly, life draining from her in front of a stunned crowd. Panic erupts. Screams pierce the air. People scatter. Some rush to her side, but it's too late. Blood pools on the polished floor, a stark contrast to the evening's earlier glamour. Manu and his friends don't hesitate. They bolt from the scene, disappearing into the night as chaos reigns. Can you imagine the horror of that moment? 1 second, a party, the next, a murder. What must have gone through the minds of those 300 witnesses as they saw a young woman's life snuffed out over something so trivial? Jessica is rushed to Apollo Hospital, but the doctors can only confirm the worst. She's gone. The news spreads like wildfire through Delhi, a city not unaccustomed to crime, but shaken by the audacity of this one, a model, a bartender, a sister, a friend. Jessica Lal is now a name tied to tragedy. The police are quick to respond, sealing off the crime scene and launching an investigation. Manu's Tata Safari is found abandoned in Noida days later, a breadcrumb leading back to him. On May 6, 1999, he surrenders in Chandigarh, along with his friends. It seems like an open and shut case. Dozens saw what happened, right? But, as we'll see, justice isn't always that straightforward, especially when power and privilege enter the equation. How does a system handle a crime so public, yet so tangled in influence? Hold that thought as we move to the next chapter. With Jessica Lal's murder sending shock waves through India, the focus shifts to the aftermath. A grueling battle for accountability. The police have Manu Sharma in custody, and with so many witnesses at Tamarind Court, the path to conviction should be clear. But this is where the story gets murky. Despite initial statements pointing to Manu as the shooter, something sinister starts to unfold. Witnesses, key to the prosecution's case, begin to backtrack. One by one, they claim they can't recall who fired the shot, or insist they didn't see anything at all. What's happening here? Whispers of bribery and threats surface. Manu's family background, tied to political clout, casts a long shadow. Many of those 300 partygoers, though horrified by the crime, seem unwilling to risk their own safety or status by testifying. The investigation stumbles further when Manu's early confession in custody is thrown out due to procedural errors. Evidence like the murder weapon remains elusive, and the case starts to crumble under the weight of influence. Fast forward to February 21, 2006. Nearly 7 years after that fatal night. The trial court delivers a verdict that stuns the nation. Manu Sharma and his accomplices are acquitted. The judge cites a lack of credible testimony and insufficient evidence. Headlines scream outrage. "No one killed Jessica," one famously reads, capturing the public's disbelief. How could a murder in plain sight result in no conviction? The answer lies in a system vulnerable to manipulation, where money and power can silence truth. But this isn't the end. Jessica's sister, Sabrina Lal, emerges as a force of unwavering determination. She refuses to let her sister's death be forgotten, pushing against a tide of despair. Her fight catches the attention of the media, and soon outlets like Tehelka dive in with investigative firepower. Sting operations reveal witnesses admitting to being paid off or intimidated. A leaked audio of Manu's confession reignites public fury. Protests erupt across India, with citizens demanding justice for Jessica. Have you ever seen a case where the public's voice becomes louder than the courtrooms? What does it take for a nation to stand up like this? The pressure builds, and the Delhi High Court steps in, ordering a retrial in 2006. This time, the case is fast-tracked with daily hearings, a rare move showing the weight of public scrutiny. Witnesses who once stayed silent now speak, some admitting to past coercion. The prosecution tightens its grip, linking forensic evidence and testimonies to Manu. On December 20, 2006, the verdict comes. Manu Sharma is convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. It's a moment of vindication, but the road was long and brutal. Can justice truly heal the wounds of such a loss? Let's wrap this up with the final reflections. The conviction of Manu Sharma marked a turning point, but the story of Jessica Lal doesn't end in a courtroom. The Delhi High Court's ruling in 2006, upheld by the Supreme Court in 2010, was a hard-fought victory against a backdrop of systemic flaws. Manu was sent to Tihar jail, serving over 17 years before his release on June 2, 2020, for good behavior, a decision that stirred mixed feelings. Sabrina Lal, in a display of profound grace, expressed forgiveness, choosing healing over bitterness. Can you fathom finding peace after such a personal tragedy? What does forgiveness mean in the shadow of justice? Beyond the personal, this case became a catalyst for change. It laid bare the issues of witness tampering and judicial delays, prompting reforms like witness protection schemes and the push for fast-track courts. The media's role, while controversial, showed how investigative journalism could expose corruption and rally a nation. Public activism, from street protests to online campaigns, proved that collective outrage could shift the balance, even against the powerful. Jessica's murder also sparked a cultural reckoning. It forced India to confront uncomfortable truths about privilege, how the elite often evade consequences, and how the system can fail the vulnerable. Her name became synonymous with the fight for fairness, inspiring countless others to demand accountability. Think about it. How often does one case redefine a society's view of justice? What can we do today to ensure such tragedies don't repeat? As we close this narrative, let's remember Jessica Lal not just as a victim, but as a symbol of resilience through her family's fight. Her story, spanning from a glamorous night turned deadly to a decades-long quest for truth, reminds us that justice isn't guaranteed. It's earned through grit and solidarity. This case, etched into India's memory, continues to challenge us to build a system where no one is above the law. So where do we go from here? That's a question worth pondering as we reflect on a life lost and a legacy that endures.